the point is that we need to have that comforting, the direct voice of God that says, choose the Lord today. Going on with this same thought, we look at our nation, and our nation is a nation that's struggling because of our loss of sight. We cannot, as children of God, hope to have all of the comfort of the Father unless we go right back to Him. Stage number 2. The young man goes to his father and says, Father, give me all that's coming to me. If you look in Luke chapter 15 and verse 12 and 13, in our text, it's interesting that for us, as we grow up, we don't go to our Father before He's dead and say, Father, give me everything that's coming to me. That would be crazy. Let's say, for instance, that my dad was a very wealthy individual. He had lands and properties and wealth. And I came to the age of 18 and I go to Dad and say, Dad, I've decided you are not doing that well with the monies that you have, so I want you to give me whatever's coming to me before you die. And that's basically what this young man did. I don't think you are managing my life the way it should be managed. I can handle my life better than you. And so I want you to give me what's coming to me. Isn't that a lot like people who claim to be children of God, who say that I can manage my life better than God can manage my life? All I want, God, is you give me the gifts, the talents, the abilities, and the strength that I can go and do what I want to do when I want to do it. That kind of hurts when you look at it that way. You know, he looked at it as though he had figured out life. He had it all figured out. He knew exactly where he wanted to go. And you know, many people who claim to be children of God, and they go out in the world and they find the church of their choice and do their own thing, you look at them and you think, well, they think they've got life figured out. But really, the Father is saying, you don't have life figured out. But you know what? If you want to go and live that way, you go right ahead. He's not going to stop you. This young man went to his father, no doubt, and said, listen, Dad, I have this all figured out. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my money that belongs to me. Of course, it's going to come from you. But I'm going to take my life and my gifts and my talents, and I'm going to invest them in the stock market. Smart man. We know what happened to the stock market. I'm going to take all of my wealth and all of my strength and everything, and I'm going to invest it in just this one thing over here, so that I can be happy, so I can have a better return. He thought he had it all figured out. Give me, give me, give me. Look at verse 13. Isn't that what he says there? He didn't go to his dad and say, well, Dad, may I? Dad, you know, I know you've worked hard for all of this, but he just flat out said, give me. Isn't that like America today? We just say, give me. Give me. Isn't that like most of Christian people today? They think that we are in this whole society so that God can just bless me. Give me. God help us that we might see beyond this crazy request of His of just give me. Did the Father stop him? No. Not a bit. Father said, son, you know, it's time you get out there and find out that you can't make it without me. You know, that's something that's very difficult in a family relationship. Within the family, you have mom. Mom is usually one that says, you know, Dad, he's struggling. We need to go and help him. We need to send him some money. We need to go and buy some food for him. And we need to do this and we need to do that. And the dad's standing there saying, no, you know, really, he needs to experience this. And once he's experienced this, he'll be much stronger and better because of it. But you know, it doesn't go without a breaking heart of the Father. The Father's heart is truly broken over what's happening with the Son, because the Father is totally aware of the smart-aleckness, the know-it-allness of the Son. So it is with God. He sees our lives. And as He sees our lives, we think, man, we've got it all figured out. We think we know better than what God does. Matter of fact, I know I can manage my life a whole lot better than what God could do. But just remember, the farther that you go away, the farther it is to return. This is where I feel our country is right now. We're falling very, very far away. We're a nation now that has forgotten about our Christian upbringings. We forgot about what our forefathers have done. We forgot about the price that was paid for our freedom. Some have taken our rights and our liberties and turned it around and said, you know, these are things that we deserve, and these are things that are our rights. But you know, immorality is not a right. It is not a right to live an immoral life. You think of prostitution. Well, everybody has the freedom and the right of choice. You know, you don't have to use one of those. That is wrong. I don't care how you turn it and twist it. It is wrong before the eyes of God, before His Word, and before your very conscience. You know it's wrong. Adultery is wrong. You know it's wrong in your very conscience of heart, and this world knows it's wrong. And yet we live in a society today that says, well, you know, it's just fooling around. It's not really that big a thing. We know murder is wrong. And yet we in our society live in a society of such tremendous freedom that God has given us, and yet we turn it around and say it's my right to abort a baby. Yeah, we're a lot like the prodigal son as a nation. And you know, child of God, we're a lot like that too. Because we think we have our right to go and do whatever we want to do. But just know that sooner or later, judgment comes. Stage number 3. Stage number 3 is one where that many people have fallen into and can't get back. Stage number 3 is far from home, basking in the filth of sin and distant from the Father. In our text in Luke chapter 15 and verse 13 through 19, it tells the story of how that he went out. And he fared sumptuously, man. He had a party. And you know, a lot of times people look at the life of sin and say, well, it's terrible. But you know, at first, it's fun. At first, it's good to be on your own. I want you to picture for a second that you have come into an inheritance of $100,000. And for $100,000, you decide, man, I'm going to change my life. In our society and in our culture today, how long will that $100,000 last? Let me share a story with you. Some very dear friends of mine and Chris's, his wife went and played the lottery and won $100,000. Do you know it didn't take a whole year before the money was gone, the marriage was split, and the daughter ran away from home? Yeah, it's fun for a while, but then it comes home to roost.